Today, we're going to be discussing the finance leadership in action, how to outpace your competition for top talent. And we're joined by our long-term partners, Quadient Solutions and Vanessa Cowan. So Vanessa, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thanks for being here. Let's just dive in.
Perfect. Yeah, hi, Steve. Thanks for the intro there. And my name is Vanessa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. So in this webinar, you will learn how to combine hiring strategies with AP automation to build a future-ready finance team and discover how automation reduces burnout, boosts performance, and helps your team focus on that high-value work. So once again, my name is Vanessa Cowan. I'm a sales development manager here at Quadient AP. My favorite part of the job is helping clients identify and implement opportunities for optimizing their accounts payable workflows. And I'm really excited to be here talking to you today. So in today's presentation, we will identify talent challenges facing finance departments. Then we'll discover what employees want from an employer, followed by strategies to help attract and retain the best people. And we'll finish with how AP automation can support those talent strategies, quickly followed by a demo and a question and answer portion as well here. So if you're a CFO or a finance leader, you're juggling inflation, rising costs, digital transformation, and trade uncertainty, but the toughest challenge may still be hiring and keeping the right people. So across North America, companies are facing a sustained shortage of accounting and finance professionals. A survey by CFO.com reports that 84% of CFOs continue to report significant difficulty filling roles in their finance departments. Many attribute this issue to industry burnout, retirements, fewer students entering finance, and evolving skills requirements in the finance sector. Adding to these woes, a 2023 study by the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants found that 62% of accounting professionals globally are considering a job change. And finally, it is expensive to replace someone. So replacing a single mid-level employee can cost up to 200% of the annual salary once you account for recruiting, onboarding, training, and lost productivity. So what do employees want? Before you try to hire or retain top performers, you need to understand what matters to them. Today's finance professionals aren't just chasing a paycheck. They're looking for work that aligns with their values, respects their time, and offers growth. So our research found that candidates want a few different things. Meaningful work, of course, so candidates seek positions that contribute to a larger purpose. That work-life balance where people want flexibility, compensation and benefits, so decent salaries, health insurance plans, and attractive retirement packages, as well as professional development. So this could be internal programs or funding of external learning growth matters. Investment in technology is another one there as well. So equipping employees with the latest accounting and finance software and technology to enhance their work experience and efficiency. And finally, reputation matters. So according to a survey cited by Inc. magazine, 69% of candidates say they wouldn't apply to a company with a bad employer reputation, even if they were unemployed. So attracting top talent. Now that we've looked at what employees want, let's dive into how we attract the right candidates. So one way to ensure you can attract top talent is to ensure you have a strong employer brand. So this is your company's reputation as a workplace. A strong employer brand acts as a management for top talent. And here's how to cultivate a compelling one. So employee testimonials are golden. Showcase employees' testimonials on your career page and social media platforms. Highlight their positive experiences, career growth opportunities, and appreciation for the company culture. Transparency is key. So be transparent about your company culture, values, and expectations in your job descriptions and during the interview process. And embrace social proof. So leverage platforms like LinkedIn and employer review sites like Glassdoor to showcase your company's culture, promote employee success stories, and actively engage with potential clients or candidates. A strong employer brand doesn't require big budgets. It requires consistency, authenticity, and a clear story about why your team is worth joining. But beyond employer branding, the next important thing is the job description. So how your job description is worded plays a critical role in attracting qualified finance candidates. And here are a few things to consider. So specificity matters. Clearly define the specific skills and experience required for the role. Avoid generic descriptions that could deter qualified candidates. And focus on growth. So highlight opportunities for professional development, mentorship programs, and the chance to take on new challenges and responsibilities. As well, showcase your culture. Briefly describe your company culture and the team environment, emphasizing aspects that resonate with the desired candidates. Top candidates, they don't want to wait around. So when your interview process drags on for weeks, involves multiple layers of approvals, or maybe lacks communication, top candidates will move on. And often they accept offers from companies that were simply faster or clearer. So to stay competitive, you don't need to lower your standards. You need to remove avoidable friction. So pre-schedule interview blocks, set aside dedicated interview time on finance leaders' calendars in advance of launching a search. And this prevents bottlenecks when you reach the finalist stage. Set and share clear hiring timelines. Communicate upfront how long the process will take, when interviews will be scheduled, and when a final decision will be made. As well, streamline approvals and offer letters, reduce unnecessary internal steps between verbal offer and written contract, and know who needs to sign off and do it early. Of course, always maintain in touch. So provide regular updates to candidates, even if the update is we're still finalizing. Silence sends the wrong signal. So shortening your hiring process doesn't mean sacrificing diligence. It means showing respect for your candidate's time and increasing your odds of hiring the person that you want. So talent isn't a side conversation. It's a strategic asset. Every month you spend with an open finance role adds cost, stress, and risk. And every time you lose a strong performer, you lose spend, knowledge, and culture. So the smart finance leaders are shifting their mindset. So hiring is just the beginning. The real work begins once someone joins your team and is onboarded. Research by the Brandon Hall Group shows that companies with a structured onboarding process improve new hire retention by up to 82% and boost productivity by more than 70% in the finance function, where accuracy, compliance, and system proficiency are critical. A disorganized onboarding process can delay ramp time and increase early stage turnover. Your onboarding should include a clear 30, 60, 90-day plan, defined by ownership between HR, finance leadership, and IT. Onboarding materials specific to finance processes and tools, a feedback mechanism to improve over time, and an assigned mentor to help the new employee assimilate. The better the onboarding, the faster your new hires can contribute, and the more likely they are to stay. So the next is flexibility. This isn't a trend, it's a new baseline. In a post-pandemic job market, most finance professionals expect some degree of flexibility, whether it's hybrid work, compressed weeks, or flexible hours. In fact, the lack of flexibility is now a top reason that professionals leave their roles, according to multiple employer branding studies. Finance teams often worry that flexibility will hurt productivity or compliance, but the data tells a different story. High-performing teams with flexibility report higher engagement, lower burnout, and strong retention. So a study by Stanford economist Nicholas Bloom, and cited in the Harvard Business Review, found that structured hybrid work increases productivity by up to 13% and cuts attrition rates in half. So additionally, a 2021 Gartner study revealed that 43% of digital workers said that flexible working hours help them achieve more productivity. So start small if you need to. You don't need to offer unlimited remote work. You just need to show that you're adapting to how work happens today. The next point we'll talk about here is career development. So finance professionals aren't just looking for a job, they're looking for a future. And according to LinkedIn's 2024 Workplace Learning Report, learning and development retains the #1 retention strategy. Teams that invest in career growth tend to hold on to their top performers longer. So by investing in learning opportunities, which is offering online training, educational benefits, or CPD events, organizations can not only enhance employee satisfaction, but also reduce turnover rates. And this doesn't have to mean expensive programs or bigger HR teams. Career development can include stretch assignments, check-ins for growth, and not just performance or external certifications. When people can see a future inside your organization, they're less likely to look outside of it. And then the final point today is technology doesn't just reduce costs, it improves team satisfaction. So when finance professionals are buried in manual processes, they're more likely to burn out and disengage. And according to Kasson Recruitment, 68% of finance candidates consider access to modern tools and automation when deciding where to work. By automating tasks like invoice processing, payment workflows, and reconciliation, you free up time for your team to focus on strategic work. You also show them you're investing in their success. So if your finance tech stack includes outdated patchwork systems, or worse, those spreadsheets, modernization isn't optional. It's a talent strategy. So what can you do today to help win the talent war? Audit your job postings. So make sure they speak to growth, purpose, and tools, not just tasks. Map your onboarding process. So create that clear 30, 60, 90-day plan and assign ownership. Talk to your team, ask them what's working and what's pushing them to consider leaving. 4, start a career conversation. Pick one team member and talk about their future, not just their to-do list. As well, 5, schedule a recognition moment. Give public credit to someone who is doing that great work. 6, benchmark your compensation. Use sites like Robert Half to confirm you're in range. And 7, finally review your tech stack. Identify one manual finance process you can automate this year. You don't have to do everything all at once, but taking action in just one of these areas can create momentum and show your team that retention is more than just talk. So when you think about competitive finance teams today, they aren't just cutting costs, they're cutting manual work to keep top performers engaged. So Quadient AP helps you do both. Custom user workflows that reflect how you and your team actually conduct business. Secure mobile access for both finance and expense users. 9 times faster AP completion rates via 99% near touchless processing. And AI-powered capabilities that streamline data, capture approvals and reconciliation via to and throughway invoice matching that quickly verifies your purchase order, delivery receipt, and bill, so you only have to pay for goods and services received. So Smart Code technology, which populates data based on previous invoices, and auto capture technology, which extracts all invoice header details, line item details, and currency amounts on the invoice, simplifying your data entry. But the finance department will see the most satisfaction and productivity improvements to the tune of time spent on data entry reduced by 83% and decreased costs by as much as 86%. So now let's jump into a quick demonstration so you can see how this is all possible for yourself. So here is the Beanworks platform. We'll jump into the fine details of the software, but first I like to do just a high-level overview of the user's access and interface, so you have a really good understanding of what's happening during the demo here. So on the left, you'll see our 4 core modules: expenses, purchase orders, invoices, and payments. The workflow is super easy to follow and will typically flow from the left to the right as it graduates to the next step in the process. And then in the center of the screen here, we have our workspace or our work queue, and we have all of the organizational structures or filters here on the top, where you see owner, legal entities, organizational units, and so forth. So we also allow for unlimited users within the system, so there's no need to worry about multiple license fees or limiting people who you would like to have access to the software. And we can also restrict and limit their access based on their role. So for audits, for example, some of our clients create read-only access, so that way they only have access to the information they need, including their approval audit trail, and you no longer have to bug the finance team about it. Okay, so we've covered all of the basics here, and for the purpose of today's webinar, we'll just focus on the invoice module, but of course, if you have any questions, feel free to follow up after this recording. So we're in the invoice module here, and the first thing we'll cover is getting invoices into the system. And there's 2 ways that we can do that based on how the document is received. So for those electronic copies, we'll set you up with a Quadient email address. So any invoice that you forward to this email will automatically feed into the system here and come into the In Progress tab. So that means no work is done on your end. Once you log in, everything is right here for you. The second way is to use our mobile app, which is especially useful if you're working remotely. All you have to do is take a picture of the invoice, and it will also queue into the In Progress tab here. But for those invoices that might come in via paper, we'll be able to get those invoices in by scanning and uploading them into the Inbox tab here. We often hear that storing invoices can be extremely tedious or time-consuming, and there's 2 ways that's taken care of, either through a filing cabinet or electronically. For those that do come with a filing cabinet, we typically see with people storing them in a filing cabinet that they split them into multiple different file folders, shuffle them around the office, and file each of them individually. For those that come electronically, most companies that store them electronically are sitting at their desk, happens one by one, uploaded individually into a repository like a Google Drive or a batch upload, and then they manually split into Adobe or create individual files. So that's why we built out this Inbox tab. So those steps can be eliminated. All you have to do here is click Upload and drop a batch of scanned invoices into your system. So you can drag and drop invoices when dealing with multiple pages. From there, you assign the invoice and it queues up with the others in the Invoices tab here in Progress. So now all of our invoices are in one place. We have eliminated paper and now have a consolidated workspace. So for most companies, the filing of the invoices takes place at the end of the process, but by using our software, the filing is taken care of the minute the invoice is in the system. And now that we've got everything organized in the system, we'll code the lion's share of the invoices, and they'll be ready for you by the next business day in the In Progress tab, which acts like your invoice coding queue. So I'll jump into an example here. I'll click on an invoice. So you'll notice once you go into an invoice, most of the coding is already taken care of. We've automatically captured the vendor, the invoice number, the dates, the totals, the taxes, and everything here on the left-hand side. And we have a few ways that you can take care of that as well. So on the linked transaction side, here you'll see that there might be some purchase orders attached to it. Comments and so forth will all be linked on this side here. For any recurring invoices, our system is smart enough to remember historical coding. So once you've done one round of coding for your invoice, all you have to do is click the Smart Code button just here at the bottom, and it will code all of those line items there for you. So we factor in legal entity or company we're in, the owner or the person coding the invoice, and the vendor when populating the line item details with SmartCode. For the odd invoice that SmartCode or PO adoption can't capture, you can then select the appropriate codes by double-clicking on this GL account here, and you'll see all of these pulled in from your financial system to choose the correct GL account, like so. So once all of those invoices are coded, you now want to click Submit for approval, which is just at the top right corner there, and that will move things into the Approvals tab. So I'll jump into the back end just to show you how we can create an example approval channel quickly here. So you'll go into Settings, Invoices, and you can create these however you like. So for this example, you can see that any invoice between $10,000 and $50,000 matched to a purchase order will go to these approvers here. And you can really create this however you like. But in this example, we have the invoices going to Sally first, and then Jill and Jack, Cameron, and Ben. So for example, you can group these. If, let's say, Jill is away, Jack also has the same approval capabilities here, and whoever gets to them first can sign off on them. So this provides a lot of flexibility, and you can create these however you'd like. So our software takes care of the approval tracking for you by notifying these approvers when they have invoices waiting, which spares your ATP team from receiving vendor calls inquiring about those late or unpaid invoices. So now the last piece of the approval workflow is approving these invoices. So I'll jump back into the invoice module and the approval tab here. So you can batch select and approve or reject, or you can also drill down on an individual invoice and approve or reject the invoice from here. If you do reject, comments are mandatory, and that way there's less back and forth between the person coding and the approver. And you can also see all of the comments will be left on the left hand or the right hand side there as well. So the system doubles up as your tool to leave those comments for approvers, and you can leave details like price increases or anything else that you might need. So once it's been approved, it will be ready to export. So that's the last step to get all this information back into your financial system. In the Export tab, select the invoices that you want to send back and export from there. Once it is seamlessly exported back into your financial system, it will look just like those entries that you're doing today. And from there, it will go into the Archive tab here. And this is going to be your historical database of all of the invoices that have gone through our system. So you can search by filter on the top here. Let's say owners or legal entities. Maybe you want to search down by organizational units and so forth. And all you have to do is highlight the filter bubble to pull up the applicable invoices. You can also use the global search button that we have at the top. Let's say I wanted to just find Amazon invoices. That will filter those as needed. So you can either run a CSV or a PDF report by selecting the invoices that you want. For example, maybe I just want to create the first three. I can generate a PDF or a CSV report from there. And once again, we do have those clients that might get audited on an annual basis, so they can give auditors read-only access to the entire system, so they can view all that information for themselves. But that wraps up our invoice module. Just a brief overview there. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or would be interested in viewing the rest of our solution. But I'll jump back into the slides here quickly to wrap things up. Thank you again so much for your time here. Let me know if you have any questions, and I would be happy to answer a few of those for you. I think there was a few, so yep. I'll pull them up. Steve, did you have those?
Yeah, Vanessa, yeah. So there was a couple questions that came in.
Mhm.
The first one is support included with the Quadient solution.
Yeah, really good question there, Steve. So support is included. So you're guaranteed a dedicated customer success manager, which is really great for any questions that arrive. You'll always have that person there for you.
Perfect. That's great. And the last question, which is one I think we get on just about every webinar we do, is how long does it take for implementation?
Really great question again. And so it's approximately 15 business days, but it is really dependent on the customer schedule and how quickly we can get through the onboarding and the training meetings. So depending on how fast they want to do it, it's up to their discretion as well.
That's great. Yeah, and I know that's it's a lot of it. It's a two-way street. So
Yeah.
a lot of the time, you can move as fast as people are willing to dedicate the time to it. So Vanessa, thanks for sharing the information with us. This has been very insightful. Great to see the Quadient solution in action. If anyone is interested in more solution, or if they'd like to see a more full demo of the product, please reach out to your VAS account manager, or you can contact Quadient directly. Feel free to mention that you're a VAS client, and they will be sure to take care of you. Once again, Vanessa, thanks very much today. Everyone else, enjoy the rest of your day.